So, good evening, guys. This is week 2. It is June 21st, Thursday, and this is week 2 of our Eric Worre GoPro book series hosted by Stephen Coleman, Ed Goldin, and Mark Mojares. Tonight, these guys are going to present Chapter 3. Like any professional, you'll need to learn some skills, and Chapter 4, finding prospects, which is really, really important. So I'm going to pass it over to Stephen. I'm going to go ahead and just get to Chapter 3 so I can have your back. I know you're driving. Let me unmute you.
Yes.
Okay, you're in the clear, Stephen.
Awesome. Hey, good evening, guys. Hope everybody had a great day of enrolling. I'm on the way to work right now, so hopefully I don't lose service. But we'll get right into this. Talking about the first 3 skills that he goes over. He touches again on like finding prospects and about how there's amateurs and posers and professionals. And the biggest fear with the amateurs is like running out of people and finding people to talk to, and they make their first list, and then all of a sudden get through their list and they don't know where to go from there. It's pretty much the biggest difference between the poser and the amateur. I mean the amateur professionals.
We have a little bit. Ed, can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
You're kind of cutting in and out.
I hear you, Angela. You hear me?
Yeah. So he
So
talks.
I am.
I hear you cutting in and out a little bit. So I'm just gonna have your back where you kind of skipped out. But he talks about that the first step is really recognizing and coming to terms with the fact that you'll need to learn some skills, right? So you worked on the tracks. You didn't know the first thing about being a network marketing professional. You just came in here to drink some shakes.
Yeah.
And I think that the beauty of this is that you don't need a lot of money for education. You don't have to take out student loans. And the beautiful thing is that you are getting paid while you are learning. And what I love about this is that, look.
While you're learning.
Yes, and Mark, Ed was a former mortgage broker, right? Mark works in corporate America. Like, we all come from different backgrounds, but here in network marketing, it don't matter your education, your gender. It don't matter where you come from, right? So he points out that there are 3 primary elements to your business. The first one, do you remember what that was? He points out 3 important elements to the business. Do you remember what those were? The first one is the products. We don't have good reception.
It's damn phone. I'm sorry.
No worries. So he talks about the first important element to any business is the products, right? Have we all experienced results on this product?
Exactly.
Yeah. So
and we're all available to having all the products at our hands, at our fingertips.
That's right.
On a level playing field.
Right. It's an even playing field. Exactly. He said if some people are successful in network marketing using the products that we've used, then it can't be the product's fault while your business isn't working, right?
Exactly. And then he touches on the comp plan also, that everybody's on the same level with the comp plans.
That's right.
If someone's making more money than you, you shouldn't get discouraged because you just got to hustle more and it'll come to you the same way.
That's right. Absolutely right. The second thing he said was, look, it ain't nothing wrong with the compensation plan. We've got 265 millionaires in this company. So we can't blame our lack of success on the comp plan. So the third and most important factor, do you remember what that is?
Of course, it's you.
It's you.
You make the business what you want it to make, for yourself.
Absolutely.
You got to have the drive to want to, do better for yourself, as far as for future or anything. But you want to just buy something that your family needs or go on a vacation, you need to have that drive behind you to want to talk to everybody that you meet.
That's right. And you are really driven. And I tell you that, the third element is probably the most important one, because it's
Of
the
course.
only different variable. We've all got the
Yes.
same products, the same company, the same compensation plan, but it's really you that's going to be the difference between success and failure. And the reason why Steven is doing so well, I mean, this dude works sometimes 60 to 80 hours a week, and he never makes excuses about getting on the team phone call. I always feel like, Steven, if you have a bad week, you don't blame Ellen. You're like,
Yeah.
I got to get my butt in the chair and do what I have to do, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So
If I have a bad week, it's because of me. It's because I'm so busy doing other things, and that's not anybody else's fault but mine.
that's right. And you have been very intricate in taking responsibility for your own actions. And I do believe that that's why you have been successful. People have a habit of blaming the products, the comp plan, their upline, and Eric worries. He says, if you're committed to building a large and successful organization, he wants to encourage you to say bye-bye to your
Bye.
right? So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say bye-bye to you, though. I can tell you that. You, Ellen, and Ed are amazing people. So I don't know how he's saying that. But, he also says, to refer to you guys, for support, which is fine. That way you can, grow your business the way you want to grow it a little bit and, learn things on your own. Also, that's the fastest way to, learn and retain the information is if you got to worry a little bit on yourself. You can, it gives you that drive to say, I got to do this for myself.
That's right. And your upline is not your babysitter. Your upline is your friend, your homie, your partner.
Right.
We're here to help each other, but we're all in this the same way. And so
Yep.
I think that, this main chapter really focused on, letting go of the excuses, understanding that the mitigating factor is you. And the moment that you decide to take responsibility for your actions, and treat this like a profession, is the moment that magic starts to happen.
Exactly.
Right? Nobody's going to book those appointments. Nobody's going to check in on you and say, hey, Steven, are you working today? And building a huge network marketing business, he talked about there's only 7 fundamental skills to learn, not 70. And yet it
Right.
blows my mind that people don't take time out to learn the 7 basic skills. And I know you're driving, so I'll just say what those skills are. But finding prospects, inviting prospects to take a look, presenting your opportunity, following up, helping them become customers, or helping them get started the right way, and promoting to the events. These are the basic skill sets, and people have to treat this like a profession. So any last thoughts before I push it over to Mark?
Yeah, I just want to say, like you're saying with all the no's, the 100 no's that you're trying to get, I had 5 calls yesterday and nobody signed up, but that doesn't, discourage me from today. I still, got out of bed and made, 2 other calls and 2 more on the fence, and hopefully by the end of the month they'll come through, and if they don't, it's okay, but I'm still going to keep going and going. Everybody else should have the same, mindset to, push and do better. And you're going to have way more no's than yeses. There was a time when I was starting out that I had more yeses than no's. So it's a little different for me right now. But it doesn't stop me from wanting to talk to every single person I talk to. And, as long as everybody does that, you're going to succeed and make it the best of, the world for you.
Yeah, that's such a wonderful, valuable point. And I tell you, the professionals, they got their list. I have 46 no's in the 10 days.
Right. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Until 2 finally came and said yes. And I tell you, 5 years in, it don't get any easier. But
Right.
Ed and Mark are going to talk about the list and the fundamentals and how to keep those names and those prospects coming in. And I think that's really important. because I know a lot of people say silly things. So I'm going to mute you out, Stephen. Thank you for a fantastic.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. So, Mark, we hear a lot of people have this belief that if they know a lot of people, they're going to be successful. And if they don't know a lot of people, then this just isn't for them, right? And when it comes to prospects, there's posers, amateurs, and professionals. So I'm going to pass it over to you and ask you to talk a little bit about that. Because I tell you honestly, the people that I've sponsored, I did not know before I started with Isogenics. I actually met them along the way.
Okay. Well, I'm going to touch on 3 points on recruiting. There's posers, like you mentioned, amateurs, and professionals. The posers are people who join Isogenics. Let's use our company as an example. Okay. I'll use myself as an example of a poser. So yes, wow, I got excited. I just joined the company. I'm going to call right off the bat. I'm going to grab my phone. Let's just say this is my phone. And I'm going to look at my phone immediately. And this is what a poser does. They're going to go, oh, I'm going to call John, Bill, and Cindy, and then Jeff and Tom. Right off the bat, that's what they do. They call, and then they're like, they don't want to take a look at the information. Then they grab the next 3 to 5 people. Oh, they don't want to take a look at the information. Guys, 80% of network marketers, basically people who join the industry of network marketing, 80% of them have this mentality. Okay? It's okay. I did it. Angela did it. All the leaders of the industry did it. And you know why? You're going to go through a process and you're going to experience failure. That's why they came up with these 3 types of people. So there's the poser, 3 to 5 people, and then they're going to go to the next 3 to 5 people. Then they're going to get discouraged. And then they're going to say it doesn't work. Isogenics doesn't work. That's what a poser does. But then you'll find somebody like Stephen Coleman that will say, hey, you know what? I'm done with this being a poser. I want to be an amateur. I want to be promoted. I want to get up there like Angela and Ed Goldin. How do I get up there? So I'm going to make a list. And this is what amateurs do. And this is the right thing to do. Make a list right off the bat. Once you get your package, make a list. We say 100 people because it's reasonable. Honestly, Angela did 100 people today. You really want to put everyone you know from the day you were born until now. Okay? From the day you were born. And amateurs write down 100 minimum names. And if you're not sure how to get 100 people, just grab your cell phone. I'm sure you have 100 people on your cell phone. But see, this is what happens. People start getting in the way and start saying, oh, I can't call them because they prejudge. I can't call Angela because Angela's already a successful doctor. She doesn't, you know, she's going to think I'm an idiot if I call her. No. Write everybody's name, whether they're negative, positive, they hate you, they like you, from they're 18 years old all the way till they're alive like 110 years old. I don't care. Write them down. Because, guys, this is what happens. When you start going from amateur to professional, you're going to start recruiting through these people. And let me explain what that means. The list of 100 people could turn into 500 people. Why? Let's just do a real quick one. Angela, you don't have to answer. Angela, who do you know from the 3 names that you gave me, John, Bill, and Cindy? Who do you know that Bill knows? Oh, Bill knows Tommy, Jeff, Johnny. Write it down. I don't care their last name. Just write it down. Who do you know that Cindy knows? She's going to name like 10 names. And this is what I mean, guys. You're going to make a list of 100 people, but you're going to recruit through those 100 people because it's not those 100 people that you're going to recruit. The diamonds are in the rough. So you're going to have to go through the 100 people to find the diamond. Okay? So we say in Isogenics, write 100 names. That's great. But we're going to put that 100 names, and then we're going to make like a tree where you're going to put down who do you know per each name in that 100 list. Okay? And a quick way to do that is, it's called a memory jogger. You could go from the alphabet of A through Z. A, who do you know that's a astronaut? Who do you know that's a barber? C, who do you know that's a chemist? Just go down the alphabet. If you don't know how to think of these names, just do a memory jogger and go through them A through Z and write down names. And then you ask, who do you know from those names? And just keep going down the list. Okay? That's how you will have endless lists of prospects. Now, when you finally get past the amateur and you really want to make the big bucks, like Miss Angela over there, you're going to become a professional. And this is what professionals do, because it's in their blood now. Once you become a professional, and you're going to get there through being a poser and amateur, professionals just want to make friends. They don't sell right away. They just go out there and just say, hi, my name is Mark. What's your name? Angela. Nice to meet you, Angela. And you just build a relationship. Just build a relationship. And if you don't know what to say because you get all nervous when you talk to a stranger, use form. Form as a common ground. Family for F. Talk about family. Oh, are those your kids? Beautiful daughters. What do you do? Well, I'm a nurse. Awesome. Occupation would be, oh, I'm a nurse. Really? What do you like to do, Angela? Oh, I like to play tennis. That's recreation. Great. Me too. If you find a common ground, they will trust you more. They don't care how much you know. You could be a millionaire. They don't care if you're a millionaire. They just care if you care. So it's not how much you know, it's how much you care, right? So you start talking about recreation, and then M. What's M? What motivates you? What motivates that person? What drives them? Basically saying, after you built this relationship and this little trust in the last 10 minutes, you're going to say something like, wow, so where do you live? Oh, I live in Brooklyn. I live in an apartment. Wow. Awesome. You know what? You are a sharp individual, and I could use somebody like you. How would you like to go from living in an apartment and moving into a house? Living in Brooklyn and moving into Old Bridge and in the suburbs? I would love that. How would you like to go from taking public transportation and buying your own car? I would love that. Well, you know what? I am looking for somebody who's sharp like you. I can't promise you anything. You may or may not be interested, but you know what? Somebody in my office will give you a call. What is your phone number? And if they don't want to give you their phone number because I'm a man and you're a woman, what is your email address? What's your Instagram social media? Okay, good. I could do that. Once they see your social media page of your success, your excitement, your energy, they want to be around people like you. Yeah. That's what I do. That's what Angela does. That's what a lot of leaders do. That's what professionals do, okay? They never prejudge. They build relationships. It takes 7 to 10 times until they finally sign up, okay? So eventually, guys, this is where you want to be. You want to be a professional, but you have to go through the process because you'll never know. We could tell you what to do, but you're going to have to go through the process. Angela, did I touch everything?
You did, and you know what, Mark? I love that everybody goes through the process. I love
yes.
that it's okay to suck before you get better, you know? And it really surprised me to know that 80% of the people who join this and who want to do this as a business, they never even take the time to make a list. And so, you know, just even making that list, you go from a poser to an amateur. And then he talked about like they make a mental list, you know, but with a mental list, you never fully clear your head and get the full-blown picture of everyone that you can talk to. And so these people in a very short amount of time say that they don't know anyone or have no one to talk to. And then the second group that you discussed, the amateurs, it's like a small mental list or maybe a little written list where, you know, they make 100 people, but then after they go through the 100 and they charge out with excitement for the 100, after that 100 is gone, they start getting anxious because they're like, oh my God, I don't have any. I ran out of people on my list. But really, he talked about this defining moment where you go from an amateur to a professional. And a professional is really someone who develops the skill where even as you're meeting people, you just see them as a prospect. He gave a beautiful example of an author named Harvey McKay. And Harvey said that his dad gave him the best piece of advice that he'd ever received as a young man at 18 years old. His dad said, I want you to take every single person you meet, get their contact information, and find a thoughtful way to stay in touch with them. And I thought that was so beautiful. It wasn't to prospect them. It was find a creative way to stay in contact with them. And now the man is over 60 years old, and he has not 12,000 people on his list, but 12,000 friends, genuine friends. You know, he talked to Jonathan Adler, the author of Beachmont. You know, you just, once you become a professional, I add everyone to my list, whether I like them, whether I think they're going to be good, whether they're not going to be good. I have a list of about 4,000 names now in the 5 years that I've been doing this. And it just comes from meeting people in everyday life. You know, when you're not a professional, you go outside and you think, I have nobody to talk to. When you're a professional, I go outside and I see the ice cream man and I get his contact information because he's now my friend. We met the Uber driver, Sam.
Right?
He's now enrolled on our team.
He was at your house last night.
He was at my house, and it's like when you become a professional, you go out there with like a different set of eyes. Every person I see is now a potential friend, a contact. I don't know that I want them to sign up, but maybe one day I can help them or I can use their services. And so going from a poser where you have your mental list to going to an amateur where you just jot down and run out of 100 to becoming a professional where every day you're collecting friends and collecting names and collecting good people in your life. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I think you did a phenomenal job. Do you have any last thoughts?
Well, Eric Worre also mentioned that list as a professional is the active candidate list. So just like you said, find a creative way of staying in touch. As an example, what Ruth and I do as a couple, we touch base maybe every other week. We'll say something, hey, we had a great time at the event last week.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Boom. That's it. Right. 2 weeks later, I'll say something like, how's your summer so far? We're at the beach. I hope you're having a great day.
Fantastic.
And we call that dripping. Just keep dripping on people, right? That means they want to stay in touch, and that's it.
Awesome. So we're doing really good on time. That was fantastic, Mark. So now I'm going to pass it over to Ed. And this is probably the most important. This is a 4-step system in making your list, actually doing the do and going about making your list. And I tell you guys that what I did was I Googled, and please write this down, Google Eric Worre GoPro memory jogger form. It's a 500-person list. that you can print out, and it's wonderful. He lists the states, the names, the professions. So please Google Eric Worre Memory Jogger form and you will come up with it. So Ed, take it away.
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Stephen. Another site, while you guys are writing that down, is if you go to Google, you can type in Isagenix Race to Crystal Executive. And it's going to give you another form also where you can actually build out your consultants. And I'll tell you, why we're going to do these two in a second. But something I heard from the beginning when I started my Isagenix business is if you don't have a list, then you have a hobby, right? So, this kind of ties in that, network marketing is a profession. And if you're going to be a professional, you must have a list, right? And so when you first start your list, and the site Angela gave you is a great way to start. You can also Google Isagenix, make a list. You'll get something similar. But when you start going through that list, just write. Don't think I don't want to call this person or I want to call this person. I'm going to call. Just write down the people's names. It doesn't matter if an X pops into your head. Write down the name. Look at these eyes looking at me. I'm serious. Write it down. You don't have to call the X, right? But when you go back through your list to get to that person, somebody else is going to pop into your head, right? So don't discount anyone. Everyone goes on that list. Family, friends. They don't want to join you. Great. Ask them for referrals. Put them on your list. Your neighbors, they have coworkers. Your parents, they have friends. They have, people as well, whether they're on social media or not. Write them down. Do not discriminate about anything when making your list. Okay? Now, when you're making your list, remember, we're a product-based company. Okay? So when you're going through that list, you're going to start reaching out to them. And you never, ever cross anyone out unless they're enrolled. Right? F no, go play in traffic. They stay on your list. Okay? And what I do is I'll take my list after I feel like I've exhausted, and I'll put it into a pile where I call it the come back in 30 days. Right? And I'll start a new list. So you always have running lists. Right? Now, the Race to Crystal Executive list, that's where you really want to put your 10 consultants. Right? Those are the people that if you had an executive table in your home and you wanted to invite 10 friends to run your business with you, those are the people that are going to go on that Race to Executive list, right? Keep that list. That's going to be, the people that you really run with your business. And then you could have your other list of people that you're going to help achieve their goals, whatever it is, okay? And always work on that list. Now, Eric talks about adding 2 people a day to that list. Angela's also always worked with 3 new people a day, right? That's what we always learn, 3 new people a day. And, you always want to add, when we talk about 3 new people a day, you're always adding people to that list, new people, right? And those people, on my phone, I don't even know how that worked. But that was cool. See, I have a person.
So let me ask you a question. When you make your list, it says make your list as comprehensive as possible. Like put every single person you can think of, whether you like them or not. I know that in the beginning, there was sometimes we have a tendency to discriminate. You're like, oh, my friend will never drink shakes. He could never use this. And it was wonderful when you get past that point. Because what people portray on Facebook or what they tell you, you don't know what's going on deep inside. You don't know who's struggling and suffering, because on the outside, shit looks beautiful. But deep down inside, you don't know who's strapped for money or who's exhausted or feeling guilty about taking naps. And so we really, really focused on emptying our mind and putting every single person on paper because number one, we don't prejudge, but number two, because it really made room for us to find new contacts and put new names in our head. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I'll really make that part simple. Here it is, guys. The person that introduced Angela to Isagenix did not enroll her. My wife's best friend that they grew up with told her about Isagenix, did not enroll us. Okay? When you discount people, somebody else is going to enroll them into Isagenix, right? Don't pass over anyone.
Yeah.
You're going to be the reason and the person that they give gratitude to when you help them. This isn't about putting people down on that list to make money off. It's about putting people down on that list that you're going to change their life. You're going to help them. You're going to give them a solution for whatever it is they need, because as we all know, this company has it.
Absolutely. And
Right.
what I love about you, Ed, is that you put down every single person on your list, whether you wanted to prospect them or not. It's a very important step to take, guys. Just because their name is on that list doesn't mean that I want them in my business. Like Mark said, you can like them, you can hate them, it doesn't matter, but you've got to empty their name from here and put it on there. Because when you put on your ex-girlfriend on that list who like you can't stand, you're going to start thinking of the people that she knows, maybe the area that she grew up in, maybe the chiropractor that maybe she made you go to one day and you were so pissed off at her because you double parked and got a ticket that day. You know, like you're not required to prospect the people on your list, but it's important to do the work, and to get their name on the paper. And then he talked about, have you heard the concept that we're all really like that 6 degrees of separation, right? So step 2 is really looking through your list and then coming up with names from that list. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so, and just to reiterate this point, I have an ex-girlfriend that's been ordering Iceland bars for 2 years in my organization.
Can I meet her?
Yeah, you can.
I'd like to give her a
And here, guys, you want to talk about not wanting to reach out to someone? She's a partner in a law firm in a different state. So, it's her loss, obviously. I make more money. But anyways.
But listen, I want to tell you, I remember when you put your sister on your list and you were like, she's not going to do this. But through your sister came a whole bunch of girls that she worked with at the tanning salon. And so maybe you put your sister on that list, not necessarily for your sister, but through putting her name down, you were like, oh my God, she knows Julia, she knows this one, she knows that one. And out of one name, you popped another 15.
No, I mean, I put my sister on the list asking her for referrals, right? And what ended up happening, I don't think any of you know the story, but what ended up happening is my sister's best friend signed with me. And when she made her first 6 figures with me in about 14 months, my sister decided to join.
After the fact.
After the fact.
Yeah.
So again, don't disconnect. Everybody, I mean, guys, think about it. If you haven't spoken to your neighbors, if you haven't spoken to your parents, if you haven't asked for your referrals from coworkers, owners of the company you work for, your managers, the mannequin you're doing her hair, Chelsea, did you ask her for friends? Don't, everybody.
So thinking about the members of your family, who do you know, adding them to your list, who do they know? Thinking about the relationships in your life. If you're 40 years old, chances are you've encountered over 2,000 people in your lifetime by now. Just keep going with the list. It's an important tool. And then step 3, he talked about professionalism is constantly expanding that list. And Mark referred to it as an active list. And for me and Ed, that list never stops growing. He joined a softball team. He put the fellas on the team on his list. Does it mean he wants to prospect them tomorrow? No, but it's very important to have that active candidate list. So the professionals have a goal to add at least 2 people a day, and finding a creative way to stay in touch with them. So just adding them to your list, whether you meet them on social media, whether you do business with them, whether you go to a new dry cleaner or anywhere, every single person goes on your list, right? We're not even talking about the prospecting or the inviting. We're just talking about making that list. And so he talked about Jonathan Adler, the author of Beach Money, who's a 7-figure yearly earner. He's excellent at step 3. You know, he really is a pro. And all these friends that he's made, eventually he's recruited into his organization. You know, professionals develop a very high level of awareness. So when Ed and I do sports, when we do events, when we're on an airplane, you know, we right away are introducing ourselves to new people. You know, posers and amateurs, they don't even notice the new people around them. But for us, we have, you know, we're already trained with our professional eye to constantly looking to see people around us, you know. So whereas most people are like, I don't know anyone, we're like, go outside. I saw like 12 people at Whole Foods today. Like, are you kidding me? You know, you really do see people everywhere. So what we want to show you tonight is really just to raise your level of awareness. Start noticing the people around you. Start documenting them. I mean, if you guys think about this, if you added 2 people a day to your list, 6 days a week, you would have 600 people, new people on your list every year. That would be 3,000 names in 5 years, which is exactly what I've been doing since my time with Isogenics. And we're not saying that you should pitch people the moment that you meet them. We're just talking about networking on purpose. So can you talk a little bit about that, Ed, specifically networking on purpose, not hiding from the world, getting out there, enjoying life? I love the way you and your wife do life.
Yeah, I mean, you know, this is what's fun about social media and Facebook and what we use. You know, people are always asking for business cards. My Facebook is my business card, right? The guys on my softball team, they're friends on they're Facebook friends. They're watching what I'm doing. They ask me. You know, I connected with them because we're on the same team, not to enroll them into Isogenics, but now their interest is piqued because of our connection, right? You know, like my wife, she goes to the gyms, or we go to the doctors. You know, wherever we go.
You go to Target a lot.
We go freaking too much. You know, but we talk to people, not just like, hey, we're in Isogenics, but hey, you know, how are you? You know, work out, whatever it is that you guys do. You know, I invite contractors over to the house, and we connect like that. You know, but you know, it's just connect for the purpose of making new friends, right? Connect with the purpose of making new friends. Add them to your social media. Follow up with them. Most people always ask what you do. As long as you know, I mean, think about it. If you walk up to a stranger, right? I mean, all you females will do this. Mark, maybe too. Walk up and be like, hey, that's a beautiful purse.
Yeah.
Is that hard? No. Oh my gosh, those are beautiful shoes. Where did you get them? You know, just start conversation. Right? They're like, oh, I got it here, and now you guys are friends. Oh, that's great. And you know, I know best. You know, Angela knows. My wife loves the retail and the high end and sales and all this stuff. So she walks around these Nordstroms and Lord and Taylors and makes friends with people that work there, and says, just call me if there's a discount. You know, and they send her all this stuff. You know, and how great is that? Because guys, people in retail are going to be out of a job very soon.
Yeah, I have to tell you that even today, Kathy Coover still prospects. The founder of our billion-dollar company still goes out there and talks Isogenics to people because she's so passionate about it. And Ed and Mark, and I would say Steven too, these guys are like yellows. They are like good time. They are fun people to be around. And you know, all we're asking you guys to do is get out there, have some fun, join a new gym, try a new hobby, volunteer for a cause that's important to you. Find places and organizations where you can meet people. Not only will it be good for your business, but it'll be great for you to make new friends. And most important, start keeping a list. It goes from my notepad to my Excel. Everybody who says that they don't know anybody, they don't see anybody, I would challenge you and I would say, you know what, start putting 2 names down every single day. I put up the Eric Worre PDF. It's packed with tips on how to make your list. And all we're asking you guys to do is just go from a poser to a professional. If you don't have a list, Ed said it, Mark said it, Steven said it best, you've got to take responsibility for your actions. If you don't have a list, you just don't have a serious business. So we're going to conclude with that tonight. We will see you guys next Thursday. Next Thursday is going to be juicy. Inviting prospects to understand your product or opportunity, presenting your product and opportunity, and following up with your prospects. So next week is going to be super juicy. Same time, same place. Thank you. I'm glad you pulled over. We were worried about you, Stephen. And let me stop the recording.